picked it up for like 20 quid, by the way. So that's £480 cheaper than my Pentax 17 was. Yikes. Yo, what up? We are currently experiencing one of the rarest of phenomena here in the UK, an actual sunny day. Now there is a specific film camera that I've wanted to shoot with for a while now, and if you saw my recent video about shooting live music with a Pentax 17, then you might know which camera I'm talking about. Essentially, if you haven't seen that video, I really like the Pentax 17, but there were some things that I wish that it had or didn't have that would have made my shooting experience better. And what I decided to do was I was going to basically take all the things I loved about the Pentax 17 and then try to find a replacement camera that kept those things but also changed what I didn't like about it. So after many hours of reading through Reddit and all that sort of stuff, going down all these rabbit holes like websites that were made seemingly pre-internet somehow, I settled on one specific camera which I think could be the solution to all of my non-existent problems. Because as photographers, we are nitpickers. I feel like we are in some ways the Karens of the creative world. Nothing's ever good enough for us, is it? So I'm not going to show you the camera that I bought right now. We're going to go out and shoot some photos with it, and then we're going to come back to the office, we're going to talk about it, and I'll tell you all about the camera then. When both you and I have seen the photos from it, and we can properly sort of discuss whether it is shit or not. Alright, so let's see if we can replace the Pentax 17 in my workflow. Let's go take some photos. Alright, so we are going to drive to Talacre, or if you are from Liverpool, Talacre. Today we're shooting on the Agfacolor 400. I was loading this film and realised that I may have made a rookie mistake, but we'll come back to this later on in the video. So here's the camera. Look at that. Look at the size of it. It looks cool as fuck, and look how small it is. It's in the palm of my hand. It's beautiful. Beautiful thing. So we'll just traverse the mean streets of Talacre. No doubt someone will try and sell me some cigarettes and a can of special brew. It's a great spot. Bloody lovely. I really like the lighthouse, sort of just poking over the dunes here. Very nice indeed. This is the exact moment that I spotted a kite in the sky, not the bird, an actual like would get electrocuted in a lightning storm kite. This gives me big seaside in the 90s energy. So we'll trek up onto the dunes here just to get some better angles of the lighthouse. If you are coming to Talacre and you want to take photos of the lighthouse, don't just walk up to it and start banging off photos. There's lots of great spots through the dunes. That's my little local tip for you. So here I wanted to test that the zone focus is actually working, so I put this on the closest option for focus, and yeah, looks like it works. So here I wanted to see how the camera would handle just being pointed at the sun, and I think it did pretty well. And here's just some extra stuff that I snapped through whilst I was walking around on my way back to the van. Alright, so we are back in the office. Let's talk about this little beauty of a camera. So this right here is an Agfa Sensor 335. It's a 35mm film camera with a 40mm f3.5 lens. This thing is tiny. Like, I cannot stress enough like how small this is. Like, look at it next to my face. Next to this microphone. Next to this mug of tea. Next to my iPhone. This thing is so small and it has a hot shoe for an external flash, and it shoots full frames instead of half frames. And quite crucially, it also has zone focus rather than autofocus or manual focus. Now, if you saw my last video about the Pentax 17, then it's probably starting to make sense to you as to why I would pick this up as a possible replacement for that camera. Now, earlier on in this video, I mentioned that I was shooting with Agfa 400 colour film, and that this may be a mistake. The reason that this was a bit of a rookie mistake on my part is because I've never actually shot with that film stock before, and so I'm not entirely sure where the quirks of the camera end and the quirks of the film stock begin. But with all of that being said, I am really into how these photos look. I think they look really, really cool. They're messy, but in that way that adds lots of sort of analog character. And we'll come back to that in a minute. Now, as I'm showing you around this camera, let me show you another kind of weird thing about it. So let's pop open the back. So this right here, this is a battery compartment. Now, you might already have spotted the problem with where this is placed. Sick. But what you can see here is this is a light tight chamber that the film goes into once it's been shot, so you'd only actually lose a frame or two. And I'm guessing this is a design quirk that had to go into this camera in order for them to keep it this compact and small. So speaking of the battery, this camera is powered by a battery that does not exist anymore. So with these cameras, you kind of have to just buy the next best thing and hope for the best. Now, what this means is that there's a lot of well-documented issues with the light meters playing up on these cameras, and looking at the photos that I've taken, I think there are definitely a few here where the light meter has just gone, nah mate, get Now, I also picked up an external flash for this camera, and I will show you that now. Look how cute this thing is. It's an itty bitty tiny little flash. How sick does that look? So I used the last photo on this roll to test out the flash, and I'll throw that up on screen now. So it turns out that what I thought was the closest focus distance evidently is not. But user error aside, this is actually a really promising photo in terms of a flash test because it's nicely lit, and as a big old fan of that wanky hipster direct flash nonsense, I think this is going to look really, really sick when I actually get it right. I think this will look particularly good for like events and live music stuff, so I'm very, very excited about that. So let's get into whether I'm actually going to replace my Pentax 17 with this camera, and the answer to that question is yes. For now. I'm not really bothered either way between full frame or half frame for the kind of work that I would use this for, and so I would much rather take the hit on paying for more film to free up more space in my camera bag by using a more compact camera. I do want to get a few more rolls through this camera so that I can figure out where the camera / lens quirks end and the film stock quirks begin. I feel like putting a roll of portrait or cine still through this thing would produce vastly different results, obviously. But overall, I think this is like really nice middle ground between actual usable photos and that whole quirky, lo-fi, real analog characteristics of when things go a little bit wrong. It's super compact, it has zone focus, and it has an external flash. It's pretty much everything I was looking for when I set out to find this camera. And going back to the photos, it kind of gives me the same sort of vibe as what you would get out of, say, a Kodak M35, but it actually elevates the photos to being usable. It elevates them past the point of being a little bit like one of those, what is it, like a Rorschach test, those ink blot tests, where you're kind of looking at it and you're like, yeah, this kind of looks like a photo, but I can't tell if it is a car or two seagulls French kissing. So long story longer, I'm going to see how this is after a couple more rolls through it. Really promising start. I really, really like it. I picked it up for like 20 quid, by the way. So that's £480 cheaper than my Pentax 17 was. Yikes. I've got a really cool trip coming up to a treehouse in a forest. I'm going to take this as sort of my phone replacement, everyday carry-all places sort of film camera, and then I'm also going to be shooting a load of medium format. You might be thinking, Rob, I didn't know you shot medium format. Well, stick around for the next video and all will be explained. And I'm also taking the Minolta Big Lad rig for 35mm film with all the lenses. So there's going to be some really, really cool stuff from that trip. I'll probably get a few YouTube videos out of it, to be honest. So if you're interested in any of that, make sure you subscribe to the channel and consider sticking around for that. But depending on how the photos come out from this camera on that trip, I'm thinking this would actually be a pretty good replacement for where the Pentax 17 was in my workflow. And I'd use it for my work where I wanted something a little bit more messy, a little bit more candid, those sort of Instagram film aesthetic sort of things. This is pretty much perfect for that. Part of me wants to go and buy like 4 or 5 more of these off eBay before I publish this video, just in case it starts to get some traction and the price on these skyrockets, because I really, really like them. But yeah, interestingly enough, there's also an upgraded version of this that has a better lens. It has an f2.8 lens, it's made of better materials, and so if I find that this is becoming something that I use quite a bit, then I'll probably get the upgraded version as well, and make a video about that too. So there we have it. Thanks for checking out the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you like it, consider subscribing to the channel. I'm gonna go and take some photos, and hopefully I will catch you in the next one. Peace.